welcome back to our special edition of Morning Live as we remember. And we're going to remember right now a stretch of France that holds a lot of Canadian history in the exhibit From Dieppe to Juno at the Juno Beach Centre in Normandy, France. And the executive director of the association, which is in Burlington, Alex Fitzgerald-Black, joins us right now. And this is a really special exhibit because it talks about two very important pieces of Second World War Canadian history in France.
That's right. From Dieppe to Juno, it's primarily about the Dieppe raid from August 19th, 1942, and it's meant to mark the 80th anniversary of that raid. But in the course of explaining the raid, you really also have to explain the linkage, or at least the supposed linkage, to D-Day, and the fact that our museum is on Juno Beach, and explaining that disaster in a site of victory for Canada.
Because so many people think that the disaster and all the losses at Dieppe led to the victory at Juno Beach.
That's right. And you know, there's some arguments that can be made in that direction, but it also was a propaganda narrative that was built
on both sides.
On both sides, that was built after the raid, especially on the Allied side, though, to show that, you know, we're learning lessons and we're going to get better at this, and you know, eventually we're going to succeed. And you know, that has been looked upon as a really important part of the memory of the Dieppe raid, because again, the sacrifice needed to mean something, and for it to mean something, it needed to, you know, have a linkage to the success that followed 2 years later in June 1944.
And the exhibit tells the stories of a lot of voices that we have not heard from in history.
That's right. In particular, we tell the stories of the Canadian prisoners of war who endured almost 3 years of, you know, difficult conditions in German captivity. But we also tell the story of French civilians. This is an exhibit in France, and part of our audience is the French population. And the Dieppois, the locals who were in Dieppe, had to experience, you know, the raid, and then they were under occupation themselves, you know, for many years, for 4 years, and had to endure that. And eventually, and at the end of the exhibition, what we do is we try to bring things full circle, because eventually the Allies do return to France, to Normandy, and they liberate the Canadians, actually the same division, the same units, you know, the Royal Hamilton Light Infantry return to Dieppe, and they liberate the town, and the civilians celebrate that victory as well. So it was important for us to link those in as well.
And you're wearing the link because you're wearing the French version of the poppy.
That's right, the bleuet. And I was actually at an event just last night in Toronto, where the French Tourism Board had an event, and they graciously provided me with the bleuet so I could remember the French soldiers who fell.
We have 30 seconds left, but if people can't get to France, there's still a way of discovering this exhibit.
Absolutely. So we've done a lot of outreach, and so you can find our public lectures on our website. And there's also a really great educational resource that we built with funding from the Ontario Trillium Foundation. If you go to our website, junobeach.org, go into the Learn section. It's called Who Tells the Story of Dieppe? And it outlines a number of these major themes we've been talking about.
Okay, it's a great exhibit. Thank you very much, Alex.
Thanks,
and
Annette, for
we'll get
having me.
the links up to that on our website at chch.com.